Good day, everyone. Our topic for today is about adolescence, the high school learner. Under this topic, there are three main objectives that we'll be focusing on, namely, the physical development of high school learners, the cognitive development of high school learners, and the social-emotional development of high school learners. Before we will be touching the important points of this topic, I will share to you the learning outcomes. So, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe the physical and sexual changes accompanying puberty, identify the psychological consequences of early and late physical maturation in adolescence, identify factors that enhance or impede the social-emotional development of adolescence, identify causes of possible habit disorders and ways of coping them, present an idea of recent research related to physical development of adolescents, and draw applications of these physical development concepts to high school teaching, learning, and parenting. So let's start. Question: what is adolescence? Adolescence is a stage of human development that coincides with puberty, a biological development occurring at the average age of 11 for girls and 12 for boys. There are factors, however, which contribute to early puberty and delayed puberty. These factors include heredity, diet, exercise, and social-environmental influence. Early and late maturation in adolescence accompany the cognitive and social-emotional development of adolescence. In this situation, the teacher must be an understanding teacher who can provide guidance and support to adolescent learners in their high school years. Furthermore, it is a period of transition in terms of physical, cognitive, and social-emotional changes of puberty. The specific ages for this period vary from person to person, but early adolescence characterized by puberty may come at the ages of 11 and 12. Middle adolescence may meet identity issues within ages 14 to 16, and late adolescence marks the transition into adulthood at ages 17 and 20. Puberty changes. Throughout life, growth hormones condition gradual increases in body size and weight. Hormone flooding during adolescence causes an acceleration known as growth spurts. What is growth spurts? Growth spurts is a change in body dimensions such as leg length, shoulder width, and trunk length. Spurt in height is ascribed to trunk growth rather than leg growth. In girls, the growth spurts generally begin at age 10, reaching its peak at age 11 and a half, while slow continual growth occurs for several more years. For boys, growth spurts begin at age 12, reaching a peak at age 14 and declining at age 15 and a half, while slow continual growth continues on for several more years. According to research, 98% of adult height is generally reached at age 16, while boys do so at age 17. Growth in height is conditioned by stages in bone maturation. The muscles grow in terms of size and strength. Similar growth spurts occur for weight, muscle size, head and face maturation, and reproductive organs. Factors affecting development. The series of hormonal changes accompanying puberty is complex. Hormones are powerful and highly specialized chemical substances that interact with bodily cells. Hormonal changes in the hypothalamus and pituitary glands signal the entire process of sexual maturation. This process entails secretion of gonadotropic hormones by the anterior pituitary at the base of the brain near the geometric center of head. Gonads, which are the ovaries for females, and testes for the males, are then stimulated with the gonadotropic hormones, in turn stimulating their own hormones. Stimulation causes secretion of testosterone in the male sex organ and of estrogen in the female ovary. In male, testosterone stimulates male characteristics comprised by spermation, the enlargement of testis gland that produces sperm, the scrotum, growth of the penis male organ for copulation, capacity for ejaculation from male sperms, voice change, facial hair development or beard growth, and continuing growth of pubic hair. Occurring late in puberty, the lowering of the voice caused by the enlargement of the larynx and double lengthening of the vocal cords is viewed to be the most obvious aspect of adolescent development. In girls, estrogen secretion triggers the beginning of breast enlargement, appearance of pubic hair, widening of hips, and menarche or first menstruation. The elevation of female breast is the first external sign of puberty in girls, accompanied by growth of uterus and vagina. Generally, girls achieve menarche beginning at age 11 until age 13. In contrast with menarche, spermarche signals the first sign of puberty and sexual maturity in boys. The need to discharge semen mixed with a sticky fluid produced by the prostate gland occurs periodically. Discharge of semen occurs during sleep caused by sweet dreams. It may also occur during conscious manipulation of male sex organ known as masturbation. Religion strictly prohibits masturbation that is coupled with sexual fantasies, but science liberally regards masturbation as a normal phenomenon unless it becomes a habitual aberration that may affect confidence in heterosexual or boy and girl relationships. The secular trend. What is a secular trend? Secular trend is a phenomenon of more rapid physical maturation during this century. In the 1800s, girls in industrial societies had their first menstrual period at age 15 to 17 and age later in the West society. Today, boys reach their maximum height at age 18 to 20 and 13 to 14 for girls, but adult height 100 years ago was at 23 to 25 for boys and 19 to 20 for girls. The secular trend is ascribed to various factors such as interaction of genetic and environmental influences, improved healthcare and living conditions, and control of infectious diseases. Better nutrition is a major factor since this provides more protein and calories for human form consumption upwards. Observably, the secular trend in industrial societies appears to be leveling off, while the experience of secular trends is just starting in peasant economies of the world. Sexual identity. Adolescence is a time of sexual exploration and experimentation with sexual fantasies and realities of incorporating sexuality with one's identity. Adolescents are concerned about their body image, sexual attractiveness, how to choose sex, and the future of their lives. Most adolescents manage to develop a mature sexual identity, but a number go to it with much confusion. How do adolescents develop sexual identity? An adolescent's sexual identity involves sexual orientation, activities, interests, and styles of behavior. Some adolescents are very anxious about sex and are sexually inactive. Sexual orientation is a person's tendency to be attracted to people of the same sex or homosexual orientation or of the opposite sex or heterosexual orientation. In terms of sexual identity, adolescence is the period when most gay or lesbian and transgenders begin to recognize and make sense of their feelings. Development analyst Freud proposed a model for the development of homosexual identity. First, child's becoming aware of same-sex attractions. Second, identity confusion, when the youth is overwhelmed with feelings of inner turmoil regarding sexual orientation. Third, identity assumption, when adolescents come out of the families and assumes a self-definition as gay, lesbian, or bisexual. And fourth, commitment, when young adult adopts a sexual identity as a lifestyle. Self-esteem. A major aspect of identity formation during the period of adolescence is self-esteem. It is one's thoughts about feelings, about one's self-concept and identity. Most theories on self-esteem state that there is a grand desire across all genders to maintain, protect, and enhance self-esteem. There is no significant drop of self-esteem over the period of adolescence, but a barometric or unstable self-esteem may fluctuate rapidly to cause severe distress and anxiety. Girls enjoy self-esteem through supportive relationships with friends or others who can provide social and moral support. Supportive relationships with friends or others who can provide social and moral support. In contrast, boys are more prone to assert independence in defining their relationships, deriving self-esteem from their ability to successfully influence others. The lack of romantic competence, failure to meet the affection of the opposite sex, can be a major contributor to low self-esteem in adolescent boys. In a major study, the end of romantic relationship can affect both boys and girls, but girls are twice as likely to experience depression, while boys are 3 to 4 times more likely to commit suicide. Implications for childcare, education, and parenting. To meet the physical development of adolescent children, parents need to be aware of manifestations of behavioral patterns that require closer communication, guidance, and support. The teen is especially addicted to modern gadgets for music listening, video games, mobile phone communication, and social media posting. These activities cause shorter sleeping time that may contribute to increased levels of daytime drowsiness, sleeping problems, and depression. In school, teachers need to be aware of the possible drop in the self-esteem among adolescent learners. The teacher's support is crucial to protect adolescent learners against severe distress and anxiety over their schoolwork and social relationships. Body image in adolescent. Consciousness about body image is strong during adolescent period. It is important that adolescents feel confident about how they look, but the physical features of the human body in terms of facial looks, body size, colored skin, and others depend on genetic heritage, which must be respected. However, there is more to body image than physical looks, and these concern good habits in relation to cleanliness and grooming, proper wearing of clothes according to current styles, erect posture and eye contact while communicating, and decorum or good quality confidence and decency. Cognitive development of high school learners. Similarly, remarkable as the physical changes in the transitional period of adolescence are changes in thinking patterns. These changes are marked by the acquisition of new cognitive skills due to the brain's increasing weight and defining synaptic connections, technically known as the corpus callosum, which join and coordinate the two hemispheres of the brain. Another brain development is a process of continuous concentration of the brain cells in the prefrontal cortex and related temporal and parietal areas, technically known as myelination. Accompanying brain changes in cognitive capability, the adolescent begins to acquire spatial awareness and formulate abstract or general ideas involving numbers, order, and cause-effect. All these changes propel the adolescent from the world of the sensible and concrete thoughts to the world of the possible and the universal abstract ideas, such as on the generally good, true, and beautiful. Social-emotional development of high school learners. Generally, emotions are commonly known as human feelings that are manifested by varied conscious or unconscious moods. A more accurate description is that it is a subjective reduction to internal and external stimulus that involves physical change, action, or appraisal. Thus, the child reacts to inner hunger for food or comfort from surrounding environment. The unique patterns of emotions are: first, event that is strong or important; second, physiological changes in heart pulse rate, brain activity, hormone levels, and body temperature; third, readiness for action, often described as fight or flight; fourth, dependence of the emotion and how the stimulus is appraised or interpreted. Biologists view that the part of the body which controls emotional reactions is the autonomic nervous system, connected to the most glands and muscles to the body. The system has two parts: sympathetic, which executes or arouses, and the parasympathetic part, which represses body functions. These arts coordinate for arousal or slowing down amid the challenges of life. Positive and negative emotions. Emotions function by focusing attention to face a situation in life or withdraw and run away from it. Positive emotions like interest and joy motivate the individual to continue his or her behavior. On the other hand, negative emotions may cause withdrawal from what may be perceived as better dangerous. For Charles Darwin, there are six basic emotions, namely interest, joy or happiness, sadness, anger, disgust, and fear. Other scientists expanded the list to include love, pride, hope, gratitude, compassion, jealousy, and anxiety. Social emotions. Social emotions start to emerge as early as the toddler years between 15 to 24 months, comprised by such feelings as envy, embarrassment, shame, guilt, and pride. Observable emotions during these years may not be accurate, but they can be a problem if not controlled. Even among early learners, emotions affect learning, since learners pay more attention to things with emotional significance. Emotions can also organize recall such that learners tend to remember details of emotionally strong experiences. In time, emotional competence can be developed by the child, and this means he or she gains the ability to regulate emotions and understand the emotions of other people. Girls are more skilled in regulating emotions, but they are more likely than boys to be anxious, and twice are likely to be depressed. Adolescent girls are more likely than boys to have both negative and positive. That is all about the topic adolescents, the high school learners, specifically their physical, cognitive, and social emotional development. Hope you learned some things about this topic. Thank you for listening.